Hello everybody, this is Gruesome Fox coming at you with a 700 cost rated match in the Dagger Iris. We're going to be on military base for this round here, and I got the Dagger Iris through doing the 72-hour limited boosted supply drop for the Hazel 2, where for the second step of that banner, the Dagger Iris was one of the 4 random units that you could get guaranteed. So in a way this is almost like a sequel to the Hazel 2 video that I did on Sunday. I did mention in that video that I have been trying to play 700 a bit more, and the Dagger Iris has been a big part of that recent push for me to try and play 700. I've really wanted the Dagger Iris for a long time now, ever since it first got released into the game. I really like the design of this mobile suit, and it is one that did look very fun. The only time I got to try it was when it was part of a simulation battle where you could rent the mobile suit, you didn't have to own it to actually use it. So it was fun to use it there, but I don't think I really had the opportunity to try out all of the features on this suit, because I think I only played like one match in it and didn't really do much past that, just to kind of get a bit of a trial run with the unit itself. So taking it out into actual matches and being able to use this suit in its entirety, really try out all the features that this suit has to offer, was definitely a treat. As well as an interesting experience just trying to get a recorded match with this suit, because I believe it was the round I had before this one. I was recording it as usual, just trying to get a good round in the Dagger Iris here, and the round had a lot of network issues. Like, the little notification would keep appearing in the top right corner saying that there was an issue with the network. There was a time where one of my teammates lost their name and number above their head, so you couldn't really tell they were a teammate, and I don't think it was just for me either, because some of my teammates were also shooting at them, thinking they may have been an enemy, but no, they were a teammate, and even when we were shooting them, they weren't getting staggered, but then their name and number appeared later on in the match, it returned, so it was just very weird. On top of that, just having a few other, like, network issues that are very common when the network is not good for GBO2. It was very weird match overall, and I almost used it, but I didn't, because at the very end, we reached the end of the timer, we reached the very end of the round, and it took way too long to load until it gave us a notification saying that the room no longer existed and that it wouldn't count as leaving the match. And this was right before what would have been the results screen, so that's really the only reason I didn't end up using it, was because it literally cut off the very end of the round. So it was like a whole round for nothing basically, but still a lot of fun. Just very interesting experience with how that one was. But interesting matches with faulty network aside, the Dagger Iris is a pretty fun general, and I do apologize if I am mispronouncing the name of this unit. I tried to see if the Gundam wiki had anything in terms of pronunciation, because the spelling for the suit does seem quite unique, so I wasn't sure if I was saying the name correctly or not. I do apologize if I am getting the name for the suit wrong. If there is a proper pronunciation, please tell me in the comments down below. I've just been going with Dahgi Iris because it does feel like it is the easiest to pronounce, but again, I could be very wrong with the pronunciation there, and I do apologize if so. The Dagger Iris is a 700 cost general unit, and it has a pretty small kit for being a suit in 700. You have a beam rifle as your main primary weapon, you have a beam saber as your main melee weapon, and for sub-weapons you have the 3-barrel diffusion beam cannon, the sensor unit area, and the Dagger Iris shield, which is a physical shield. And I really like the lore reason behind the physical shield on the Dagger Iris, that being a beam shield would actually interfere with the sensor technology. I do believe that is what G Generation Eternal says for its description of the Dagger Iris, so I really do like that little lore bit that it can't have a beam shield because of the limitations with the sensors. But like a lot of the other late UC mobile suits, you can use this shield as a partial melee weapon. You can hit people with it, and if you hit somebody who is trying to attack you, it will knock them over, so very useful for that. And for some of the standout skills that the Dagger Iris has access to, you do have a double dodge roll, you do have flat booster at level 2, and you have the release range output limiter skill for the main beam rifle, and you have high speed mobile shooting. The release range output limiter I think is very interesting on the Dagger Iris, because the 3 charges that you get with it is uncharged, it fires a standard instant stun. If you do the first charge, it fires a 4-round rapid burst, and if you do the second charge, you get a instant stun with a piercing effect. And I find this to be really interesting on the Dagger Iris because, at least compared to other suits I've played that have access to the release range output limiter skill, none of them have really had the same sense of timing that the Dagger Iris has. Because you have that first charge that is the rapid fire, and there is this aspect of, well, when is the right time to start charging, and when is the right time to fire before you get the second charge in? Because the rapid fire on the suit is pretty good with the main beam rifle. It does have a pretty good stagger accumulation that can knock down certain suits quite easily. Some even better if you do pair it with the defuse cannon. I think that might happen in this round with the Penelope, where I use the rapid fire into the defuse and it is able to knock it over. So you can get a really good combo out of that, but again, it's really the timing aspect of it, just making sure you can get the charge in time to have the rapid fire, but also making sure you can fire quick enough so you can get the rapid fire without going into the second piercing charge that won't give you that stagger accumulation. And I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this feature, because on the one hand, it does make the Dagger Iris quite versatile. This is a suit that doesn't really have a lot of weapons to work with. Really, in terms of offensive weapons, you only have the beam rifle, the saber, and the defuse cannon, and the shield if you do go in with it. But compared to a lot of other 700s, that's not really a lot of weapons for this suit to work with. So having the ability to have a beam rifle with multiple useful fire modes is a really great feature to have. But on the other hand, 700 is such a fast-paced cost where your timing when focusing the beam rifle really needs to be on point in certain situations. And I don't think that's necessarily a weakness of the Dagger Iris, but more so something that could be resolved through practice and using the suit more. If I really had to suggest a change for the beam rifle, say maybe BB just randomly comes to me and they're like, hey Goofsome, we want to make a change to the Dagger Iris beam rifle, what do you have in mind? Which would absolutely never happen, but would be funny if it did. My suggestion would be to remove the double charge from the Dagger Iris beam rifle, have the uncharged fire be the normal instant stun, and have the charge shot be the piercing shot. And for the rapid fire, have that be attached to a limiter release where you can push the reload button when the heat gauge is full. And that's kind of my spitball idea for changing the Dagger Iris beam rifle, not something to be taken seriously at all. I think if the beam rifle was designed that way, it could maybe help with the timing aspect, because the only thing you would need to worry about is if your heat gauge is full for you to push the reload button and access the rapid fire, but as it is, I think the double charge on the Dagger Iris is a very unique standout feature of it. As I mentioned, compared to other suits that have the double charge, it is really nice that they did design it the way they did, especially since they could have just given this suit a rapid fire version of the beam rifle as a sub-weapon. Few late UC suits already have that, so I do appreciate that they did try to give the beam rifle a more unique function instead of just, here's a charging instant stun beam rifle and here's a rapid fire version as a sub-weapon. But real quick, that is going to be timeout mission over. Let's see how we did with the Dagger Iris here before wrapping things up. And looking at the final results here, did get top individual and did beat my rival, and second place with 7 kills and 1 loss. To briefly bring things back to the topic of weird network things in GBO2, I didn't realize until rewatching this that somebody on the enemy team disconnected at the very beginning of the round, and I'm surprised GBO2 didn't end the room because of that. I thought they changed it where if somebody left too early, it would close the room immediately, but for some reason this time it didn't seem to do that, so very weird there. But that is going to be everything for this round here, and overall I really do like the Dagger Iris. I'm really glad to finally have it. I wish it had a model kit, or at least a newer one. It may have an older one somewhere, but I would really like to see a new one, especially since Bandai has been doing a lot of the F91 suits as Reborn 100s, so would really like to see that. And we'll probably also be seeing a bit more 700 in the future, since our next anniversary suit is supposed to be the Unicorn Gundam Perfectibility, which I am considering pulling for, so if I do end up pulling the trigger on it, you will likely see a testing video on it later tonight. But yeah, that is going to be everything I have for this video here. Comment down below what you think about the Dagger Iris. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and if that, I will see you all in the next one. Later.